Hello there, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about using a vintage computer in modern times. And the reason I'm talking about this is because every once in a while on our Mac Yak podcast, we challenge ourselves to do what we call the PowerPC challenge. And that is using a PowerPC based Macintosh for a period of time, and you try and do your everyday tasks on that, whether it's web browsing or email or your work or whatever you have to do. You try and challenge yourself, to a limit of what you can do using one of these classic computers. Now, while it's all well and good to use a PowerPC Mac, obviously, there are some things you can't do, things you have to do for work, things that require different authentication levels or different browsers, or things that just aren't suited for older machines, like watching 4K video or whatever crazy stuff you people like to do on your vintage computers. Now, the thing is, I always thought the PowerPC challenge was a cool idea. I usually did it for a few days, but I never really kept track or anything like that. But this year, I'm going to try. And this year, I'm going to do something a little bit different. How different? Well, I'm going to be using this. And that's not a PowerPC, is it? No, that's a Quadra 800. This has a 33 MHz 68040 processor in it, and it came out in 1993, a year before the first Power Macintosh machines came out. Now, this thing is no slouch. It's pretty quick. In fact, it's one of the quickest 68K machines ever made. Now, I would love to use my Quadra 840 AV, but unfortunately, that logic board is just not working for me right now. And although I've tried many times to get the thing to work, I haven't gotten it working yet. So that is something that unfortunately is not going to be available to me for this challenge. I have no idea how long I'm going to actually survive doing this challenge. I'm still trying to think of everything I'm going to set up on this machine. So I'm just sort of flying by the seat of my pants here, but it is exciting to think about it. I do have to rebuild it because I did take the board out when I was tinkering around with the Quadra 840 AV. So I do have to rebuild this kind of thing, so I thought, let's do a little introduction video about this challenge, and we'll sort of record this little vlog style thing as I go. There won't be too much editing here. It's not going to be too fancy of a video like some of my iMac videos. Hopefully it's entertaining, and maybe we'll get some goodies of me I don't know, getting this thing to work or blowing up. I have no idea. You're here, so you're going to watch, hopefully, what happens to this thing. Now, unfortunately, this machine is not without some cosmetic imperfections, as you can see as I zoom in here. Yeah, it has a lot of scuffs and scratches on the front. I don't see any cracks or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me. This machine was given to me by a friend who rescued it from a recycling place, and, it actually turned on. The problem was, if you saw the live stream I did about this Quadra 800, the battery was leaking. For those of you who missed that live stream, here's a quick recap. When I got this machine in the summer of 2019, it was in an unknown state. Before I turned it on, I took it apart to see if there was anything wrong inside. And oh boy, am I glad I did. I was surprised to find that the battery had already started to leak. When I removed the battery from the logic board, it started expanding further. I'm very thankful that because of the way this machine was stored, most of the battery's guts were only on the case. Not a lot had leaked out on the computer. There was only minor corrosion on a memory module, which thankfully I was able to clean off quite easily. I did notice by the PDS slot on the rear of the motherboard there were some contacts that looked a little suspect, but I was able to clean those off without too much trouble. So I really dodged a bullet with this machine, and I'm very glad I was able to save it, because I think I'm going to have a blast getting this thing up and running. But the battery holder here still has some rust on it, and although I'm not going to be putting a battery in there, I'll probably eventually remove this socket and replace it with one, because it might not make sense to clear out that rust, especially since half of that little metal mechanism is already gone. However, the logic board is in fairly good condition. This is just some of the thermal paste there that was on the heatsink, and yes, this did have a heatsink on it. Now, we do have a few I/O options we could play around with, but thankfully, the machine is pretty well spec'd out on its own. We have a bunch of ports that are built right into the machine. We have audio in and out on the left. We have 2 ADB ports. We have 2 serial ports. We have an AAUI network jack, which is helpful to connecting to Ethernet networks. We have our 25-pin SCSI port, and we do have built-in video output, which is nice. Now, we do thankfully have 3 NUBUS card slots, so we can put in a better graphics card, maybe do some better networking, although I think as far as speed goes, I'm probably going to just stick with the AAUI connector there. And we do have some other spare things that we could play around with. We do have 4 memory slots, we have our internal SCSI connector here, and we have our internal floppy disk connector. So I don't know how much memory I can actually put in this machine as far as what I have lying around, but I guess that's just something we'll have to play around with. And this machine can run up to macOS 8.1, although I'm not sure exactly what operating system I want to settle on yet, or maybe I'll end up dual booting or something like that. So that's my plan. I'm going to set up this Quadra 800. I'm going to use it as much as I can for normal day-to-day tasks. Obviously, there are going to be some things I just simply can't do with the machine, but that'll be fun, and I'll document whatever happens along the process as I go through it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do just yet. I'll probably post something on my Mac84.net website, and I would really like to update that content on this computer, so we're going to see what I can do about that. But modern day security and SSL stuff kind of makes that a pain, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just type something on here, put it on a floppy disk, put that disk into another computer and upload the text or something like that. We'll figure it out. But I do have quite a few tricks up my sleeve. There's some odd hardware I'd love to play around with that would fit perfectly with this machine. So we'll see what happens, and who knows, maybe I'll be doing some video editing on this machine. Unfortunately, we really can't do any live streaming from it, but maybe we could live stream with it. We'll get to that in another video. Coming up in the next video about this Quadra 800, I'll be trying to clean this machine out the best I can. Then we'll try and get it up and running and see if we could find some suitable accessories to go with this fabulous computer. But that's about it for now, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you like my stuff, please subscribe on YouTube. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you want to follow me on social media, well, you can do so on Instagram and Twitter. The handle is Mac84TV. And if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so as well. For as little as $1 a month, you get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes goodies and a bunch of stuff you just can't get anywhere else. So go to patreon.com/Mac84 to support me there. But that's it for now, so I'll see you right here next time on Mac84.